Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Jacob Wheeler. As of recording this episode, it is the 5th of January, 2023. So once again, Happy New Year to all of you out there. There's a couple things I wanted to talk about today. The first of which caught my attention while scrolling Instagram, I think yesterday or the day before. If your timeline is anything like mine, a lot of it is filled with kind of the new stuff that artificial intelligence is doing and is capable of. And obviously it's been kind of folklore for decades. We had movies coming out about it for a long time. And then it became it's always kind of been a serious topic, but it became a serious topic in the scientific community sometime in the last 10, 15 years, I think. So we all kind of knew that it was possible and that it was eventually coming. And there were people saying that we need to prepare ourselves for what's to come because there are serious repercussions if, this type of technology gets too far, if an artificial intelligence is linked to something that is not so beneficial for mankind. That would be obviously a big fucking issue. I'm sure you're familiar, but the last few months, artificial intelligence has really been in the news for the fact that it can now create this amazing, beautiful artwork just out of nothing. Like you type in keywords and it makes that artwork. It's had a lot of controversy because obviously artificial intelligence, it takes the artwork of thousands and millions of artists and clips all that together and makes it their own. So there's a giant controversy about whether or not it's actually illegal for this artificial intelligence to be ripping all these artists and creating something new. But the other side of the argument is what is all art anyway? All artists are inspired by other artists, and that's kind of builds on top of each other and kind of just goes down the line. Another issue with it that people have is that the fact that this artificial intelligence can create this beautiful artwork out of nothing, does it then devalue the work that human artists do? Because obviously we don't work as fast as artificial intelligence does. So our art takes a lot longer, and if depending on how you look at beauty standards, it's not as good as artificial intelligence. My opinion is, and is like the opinion of a lot of other people, is that I don't think it'll necessarily take away the value of human artwork. If anything, it may make it more valuable because it's something completely different. It's not people are going to have a thirst for human-made artwork because, artificial intelligence can just make it out of nowhere, and there's nothing really special about it. A lot of the things that I like to have up in my apartment as far as artwork and things like that, I like the fact that it's made by a human, you know what I mean? But artificial intelligence and art is not necessarily why I'm making this video. I was scrolling on Instagram and saw Jerry News posted a new headline. And if you're not familiar with Jerry News, they post a lot of clickbaity kind of, news headlines and shit, but that's right up my alley. And once again, it caught my attention. And this time, for the first time in history, an AI bot will reportedly defend a human in court. Of course, I had to look into this. So it's from a company called Do Not Pay, and it's going to appeal a speeding ticket sometime in February. Obviously, the defendant and the location of the trial is not yet announced and may not ever be publicized. But that information isn't necessarily super important. It piqued my interest, and hearing next month, we'll see the defendant get advice from artificial intelligence using a smartphone app. It's Do Not Pay's robot lawyer. It will advise the defendant on what to say in court. It will use the smartphone app and an earpiece to hear the advice, and this is the first time a person will be represented by artificial intelligence ever. It just goes to show this shit is rapidly advancing. In the United States, artificial intelligence is being allowed to defend somebody. There's so many implications on what it means and how far are we pushing this to where we blink and we are just in a world surrounded by artificial intelligence. Some people fucking love the idea of that shit. So I'm at a loss for words. I really genuinely don't know. I'm going to definitely have my notifications on for that news story and kind of what happens in that court because, obviously first impressions and first times for anything are super important and impactful. And so this will set the tone for court cases in the future and what the landscape beyond will look like. If you're curious about the creation of this artificial intelligence, it was designed by a man named Joshua Browder. He initially created the robot to appeal parking tickets in the UK when he first launched the technology, but has since expanded it to the US. This technology was designed in a chat format where the bot would proceed with questions to learn the details of your case, such as were you or someone driving, or was it hard to understand the parking signs? After it analyzes your answers, the robot decides if you qualify for an appeal. If yes, it will generate an appeal letter that can be brought to the courts. A similar format will be used in the February court case, but it will listen to the conversations between the prosecutor and defendant to advise its client on what to say next. He also tweaked the audio tool not to react to statements instantly, instead letting the offense finish their discussion, analyze comments, and then present a solution. Quote, "It's all about the language, and that's what lawyers charge hundreds or thousands of dollars an hour to do," Browder said, who believes this technology will one day replace lawyers. And interestingly enough, Do Not Pay's website shows its technology can be used for things other than a robot, fight corporations, beat bureaucracy, find hidden money, and sue anyone. The robot has learned the laws about canceled and delayed flights and payment protection insurance. So this bitch is fucking smart. This bitch is fucking smart. To kind of wrap up the artificial intelligence conversation for today, I talked about it before. I talked about it last year whenever I wasn't really making consistent videos. I talked about the Facebook metaverse and kind of how weird the time that we're currently in is. I'm very I'm nervous about the lack of regulation for artificial intelligence as a whole. There's no telling what the future holds for us, but you can trust me to talk about it. I will make sure to keep updating this channel. It's definitely an important topic. Say what you will about the government and regulation and the implications of all that too. Like there's a butterfly effect for literally everything that we do. It's an impossible world we live in, but it almost is a little scarier. The idea that one of those scary Terminator movies or Will Smith movies could actually come true. But anyways, I do appreciate you guys watching this video. Oh, actually, no. I said in the last video I was going to update the George Santos situation. So here we are. This is just a real quick update. Well, he definitely still intends to be sworn in. He's in Washington. He's waiting to be sworn in. If you're not familiar with kind of what's going on in Washington right now, there's a big holdup with the certifying of the votes and who's really going to be the next Speaker of the House for the Republican Party. They can't really. They've apparently gone four rounds essentially of voting, and McCarthy has not gotten the amount of votes that he wanted. I apologize about the car outside. That is unbelievably loud, but he hasn't gotten enough votes, and he doesn't want to not be the Speaker of the House, so he keeps adjourning and redoing the vote. But again, he keeps losing by almost 20 votes, and it doesn't seem like he's gonna get what he wants. But aside from that, Mr. Santos and these other newly elected Congress people and formally elected, just waiting to be sworn in for their next term, they're all anxiously waiting there in Washington. So I genuinely don't know what the future is going to hold. The George Santos thing is interesting because I did see reports today that he actually is going to be investigated legally. Obviously, there's a lot of issues with a elected representative serving in our government lying about pretty much every aspect of their life. And if they're willing to lie about that, then what else aren't they willing to lie about in order to save face? And again, there's all the money problems I talked about in the last video. All of that is super, super relevant and important, and we should not forget it, even if he gets sworn into office. I wouldn't listen to a thing that he says. Someone made a comment about Elizabeth Warren as well on my last video and how she hasn't been getting the same amount of news coverage, but she for decades lied about being a Native American, and that is fucking wild that shit flew for that long. But obviously it's not a big deal right now because Elizabeth Warren she's not serving in public office right now. She's not really at the magnifying glass head or whatever the phrase is. That was definitely not the phrase. It's crazy with him because he was literally just elected. He's supposed to be sworn into Congress. We'll see what happens. I'm going to go ahead and sign out of here. Thank you all for watching this video. I'll catch you in the next one. I'll see you in a few days. And thank you for the support on the last video. That was the first time I've ever gotten any real comments like that. So I do appreciate it. Thank you for talking. I will see you later. Bye. Oh, and follow my Instagram. Okay, bye.